Hey, Elliot here, founder of Postwise. And if you've tried other AI writing tools, you've probably noticed that the content often sounds the same: generic, impersonal, and clearly not written by you. Building a recognizable brand voice requires consistency, and most tools just can't capture your unique style. That's why we created Postwise Voices, one of the most powerful features in Postwise. With Voices, you can train an AI to write precisely in your tone, with your vocabulary, and your personality traits. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to browse our preset voices and create your own custom voice that perfectly matches your brand. Let's start by clicking on the Voices tabs in the navigation. This opens our AI Voice Studio, where all of the voice magic happens. This is the heart of what makes Postwise different from other content tools. Postwise comes with a library of preset voices designed for different industries and communication styles. Each voice has unique characteristics, and some are friendly, some are conversational, and others are more professional and authoritative. You can preview each voice to see the examples of how they sound. Let's look at this one called the Business Storyteller. You can see in this case, the topic is why personal branding is important. It's gone via the Business Storyteller voice, and this is the style of post that it creates. If you need any more information, you can see in this case, it's systematic, it's story-driven, it's educational, and we have a description: blends personal stories with practical business frameworks, starts with a compelling narrative, then delivers structured advice readers can apply. It's inspired by Sahil Bloom, Nicolas Cage, and Justin Welsh, who are all very big popular writers on LinkedIn. So these preset voices are a great starting point, or if you're looking for inspiration and just want to get started quickly. But in my case, I actually want to create an own custom voice after my own style. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. So let's create our own custom voice. If we click My Custom Voices, and then we click the Create AI Voice button, it's going to give us these three options for creating a custom voice. I can create one from scratch, where basically I can call it anything I want, and then I can add some example posts. And once I add in some examples, I can add a maximum of 10. That's going to be the data that we use to train our custom voice. Now, this one is probably the hardest, but you get the most control because you decide exactly the content that goes in. So if you have a very particular writing style, you can provide 10 of your top posts and it's going to do that for you. So this is really good if you have 10 different pieces of your own content that you really like. You can put them all under one roof and then create a voice in that style. Or maybe there's a creator that you really like and another creator you really like, another creator you really like. You can put them all under one roof and create a brand new AI voice, which is super powerful. So from scratch gives you the most control, but it's probably the hardest one. So with Clone a Creator, this is really the easiest, and it's actually a very powerful feature. In this case, what we do is you can choose the platform from the creator you want to specify. You can add their username. So in this case, I'm going to add my own. And when you press Create Voice, what it's going to do is it's going to grab their most popular posts, the best post content pieces that they have, and then it's going to create an AI voice after their style, which is really, really powerful. You can see how quickly it did it, which is really, really impressive. And if you go into the edit button, we can actually see the different posts that it's using to train this AI model, which is really, really interesting. We can see the exact style of content that it's going to be using to create content in my style. So I want to show you the before and after of using one of these voices. Now, if I turn off the voice, so now it's disabled, I like that. Virality is nothing without value. Again, the power of Postwise, it's learning the kind of topics that we speak about. If I put in virality is nothing without value, remember, this is not using a voice right now. And I'm going to show you the difference between not using a voice and using a voice. So virality is a fickle beast. It will love you one day, ghost you the next. But here's the secret. Value is your ride or die. Deliver value even when no one's watching, deliver value. So anyway, you can see it's an okay post. It's probably a good starting point, but it requires some work. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable the Elliot Murray voice, which is now going to write it in my style. So I'm going to go ahead again and I'm going to say virality is nothing without value. Let me refresh it just so that you can see that we're now using my voice. And again, virality is nothing without value. Now, while this is creating content, I'm actually going to show you what my content style is like, because I think without you understanding what my writing style is, you're not going to know if it's replicating me well or not. So on LinkedIn, you can see the kind of posts that I write. I use a lot of lists. I use a lot of repetition sequences. I use a lot of embedded quotes. And I always sign off with Love Elliot. It's kind of my writing style. And actually for you as a creator, I would recommend creating something very unique that you end your posts with, because it gives you that unique edge. But anyway, I end mine with Love Elliot. Okay, so we've got the post written now. And let me just show you the post that it wrote previously. If you remember, this is the one that it wrote without voices. Now, if we take a look at the post that it wrote, let's check the first one out. Everyone wants to go viral, But here's the dirty little secret. Virality without value is just noise amplified. I can already tell this is going to be good. Think about it. 1 million views means nothing if they're the wrong eyes. Likes don't pay bills. Engagement without intent is just ego food. Wow, I like that. I learned this the hard way. Had a post hit 2 million impressions last year. Know what it got me? A bigger ego and 0 clients. So already you can see the depth to this is so different because it's trained after a very particular style. That's when it hit me. I was optimizing for attention, not impact. So I shifted. Remember, I used a lot of lists in my styles. Started writing for decision makers. Focused on transformation, not information. Built every post around a clear problem. Made every story a bridge to a solution. This is so valuable. Now, my posts get 1/10 of the views, but my DMs full of CEOs ready to buy. I love that. Virality is vanity. Value is victory. Choose wisely. And again, look, love Elliot. You can see it's written it in my exact writing style. So you can just see the difference between a post where we're not using voices compared to a post where we are using voices. It has captured my style effortlessly. And this is me training it after my own personal content. This is my voice. But if I wanted to, and I was at the beginning of my content journey, I can use any creator that I like. I can use their style, make it my own, and use it as a great foundation to get started, which is really, really powerful. And you can further refine your voice with our advanced settings, which is a really powerful feature that I'm going to show you now. So if we go into the voices, we have this section called guidelines. So guidelines is a great way for you to get really granular control over the content that gets produced with a voice. You can either use a content style, i.e. saying always end with a question, never use emojis or something like that. Or you could get more granular and say, this is my story, weave in elements of my story to make these posts more engaging. So I'm going to do that now and show you how that works. So I'm going to read a little bit about my story out and show you what it means. Weave in unique elements from my story. I worked with Stephen Bartlett at his first company, Social Chain, as head of innovation before quitting and building an agency with a friend. Together, we built a company called Lightning. We helped Bieber go viral. We were making loads of money, but I hated making celebrities more famous, so I left to help everyday people do the same, this time helping people grow their personal brands. It's called Postwise, now documenting my journey. Sometimes where it makes sense, weave in elements from the above into my posts. So what I want to do is press save. You can see it says settings updated, and then switch it on. And what you can see is now when we go back into the AI writer, it's going to have this little icon here saying guidelines. Your custom guidelines are being applied to the generated posts. Now, this is really powerful because what it means is that those instructions are going to be applied to your post. So now if I put in virality is nothing without value, let's see the different content that it creates and let's see if it includes that information from the guidelines. So look, we now have these 3 posts and look how different it is. This one's talking about Justin Bieber. This one's talking about Stephen Bartlett, Social Chain. This one's talking about a viral campaign that hit 50 million views. So let's take a look at this. Plot twist. I once helped orchestrate a viral campaign that hit 50 million views. The client was thrilled. I felt empty. Wow, that's really deep. And I can relate to this. This is my story. It's kind of telling it in my own way. Because here's what nobody tells you about virality. It's like a sugar rush. Feels amazing for 5 minutes, then crashes hard, leaves you wanting more. Anyway, I'm not going to go over this post, but do you see how good that is? It's still got that engaging writing style. It's still true to me as a person, but this time it's added in unique elements from my story. So if I really like that, and I do, I can just go ahead and click it, and as usual, press schedule, and you can see, look, PS, want to create content that actually matters. That's exactly why Postwise exists. It's adding in my unique parts into this story as well, which is so, so powerful. Now, obviously, you don't want to include guidelines in every single post. Not every single post is going to be a story post, but I still might want to use the Elliot Murray voice. In that case, I can just press turn off guidelines, and now when I go to create content, it's not going to be weaving in my personal story, and if I do want it to go on, I can just press guidelines on. It's now going to be weaving in my personal story. That's really good for giving you control over the kind of content that it creates. Sometimes you're going to want that personal story, sometimes you're going to want that unique style, and sometimes you're just going to want to create content using the voice as it is. And that is it. You've now learned how to create your own custom voice that perfectly matches your brand. Your task is to set up your own custom voice using your own content samples or a creator that you're a fan of. And if you have any questions, our support team is here and ready to help. Happy voice building.